Austria is known for its beautiful landscapes, cultural richness, and high standard of living. The country boasts a stable economy with a strong focus on services, industry, and tourism. Despite inflationary pressures in Europe and a rising unemployment rate, Austria has managed to maintain relatively moderate price increases. The average inflation rate in Austria dropped in comparison with previous years. Let's explore what it actually costs to live in Austria today. 1. Apartment prices. In the city center of Vienna, renting a studio apartment currently costs around €850 per month on average, while the same-sized unit on the outskirts is closer to €700 per month. A two-bedroom apartment in Vienna's city center commands about €1,800 per month, whereas outside the center, the average rent for two bedrooms is approximately €1,400. Buying property in Vienna is equally steep, with an average price per square meter at €6,850 in the city center and €5,000 outside the center. This means a 50-square-meter apartment in central Vienna would cost roughly $343,000, while a similar unit on the outskirts averages around $250,000. In Linz, renting a 50-square-meter apartment in the city center runs about $800 per month on average. Purchasing the same size of apartment in Linz would equate to roughly $200,000. Moving to St. Pölten, a one-bedroom rental in the city center typically goes for about €700 per month. To buy the same size apartment in St. Pölten, given the outside center, one could expect to pay around €160,000. These figures highlight how rental and purchase costs vary significantly, not just between cities, but also within different areas of the same city. 2. Utilities. Basic utilities, which include electricity, heating, cooling, water, and garbage for a two-bedroom apartment in Vienna, average €330 per month. A standard mobile phone plan with at least 10 gigabytes of data costs approximately €18 monthly. Internet service, offering speeds of 60 megabits per second or more on unlimited cable or ADSL, averages €34 per month in Vienna. Water and garbage disposal are included in the basic utilities package, so residents do not typically face separate billing for these services. In Linz, basic utilities for a similar size apartment cost around $310 monthly, slightly lower than in Vienna due to regional variations. 3. Grocery prices. In Austria, 1 liter of milk costs around €1.5. A kilogram of local cheese runs about 16, reflecting higher dairy prices across the country. A kilogram of chicken fillet is roughly €13 on average. A dozen eggs cost about €4. For fruits and vegetables, a kilogram of apples is approximately €2.5. Bananas go for around €2 per kilogram. Tomatoes cost about 4 per kilogram, illustrating typical produce costs. A 500-gram loaf of fresh white bread costs around €2.50. Beer purchased from a grocery store runs around €1.25 for a half-liter domestic bottle. In total, a single person's monthly grocery bill, based on a balanced diet and moderate consumption, averages around €300, whereas a family of 3 can expect to spend $700 per month on groceries. 4. Eating out. A regular cappuccino at a cafe in Austria costs about €3.80. A freshly baked croissant can be purchased for around €1.50 in most bakeries, providing a quick breakfast option. A hamburger at a fast food restaurant typically costs €10. While a kebab from a street vendor is about €6.50, it offers convenient yet varied choices for lunch on the go. A medium-priced pizza at a casual restaurant runs around €12. A 3-course dinner for 2 at a mid-range restaurant averages $70, reflecting the broad range of dining experiences. A glass of house wine costs approximately €4, and a half-liter of draft beer is about €5, on par with typical European capital city prices. Frequent dining out can lead to monthly expenditures of around $250 for a single person, and up to $600 for a family of 3, assuming 2 to 3 outings per week. 5. Transportation. In Vienna, A single-ride public transport ticket costs €2.50, while a monthly pass is €51, making public transport a cost-effective way to navigate the city. Train ticket from Vienna to Budapest averages €34, depending on the rail operator and booking time. Traveling from Vienna to Salzburg by train typically costs around €29, with frequent high-speed services making the trip in under 3 hours. For occasional trips, it's wise to book tickets in advance online to secure discounts of up to 30%, as last-minute fares can be significantly higher. Cycling is also popular in Vienna, and many residents purchase used bikes for around €150, cutting transportation costs even further. Ride-sharing apps and taxis start at about €5 plus €2 per kilometer. For those living outside Vienna, consider regional transport passes offering discounted travel within Lower Austria, which can save up to 20% on daily commutes. 6. Car ownership. Owning a car in Austria involves annual insurance premiums averaging €700 for a compact vehicle, varying by driver age and claims history. Road taxes on a typical family car amount to approximately €200 per year, based on engine size and emissions. All cars must display a highway vignette, costing €96.40 for a one-year pass, which is required for driving on Austria's motorways. Monthly parking in Vienna can range from €100 to €150 depending on the district, while short-term zones cost €2 per hour. Fuel prices average €1.55 per liter of gasoline, making weekly refills of €60 common for moderate use. When combined, total monthly car expenses, inclusive of insurance, taxes, fuel, and parking, can reach roughly €350 every month. 7. Education costs. Public primary and secondary education in Austria is free for EU citizens, with only minimal fees for extracurricular activities and school supplies. Non-EU citizens may face nominal administrative fees, though tuition itself is generally waived for many programs. Public universities charge minimal semester fees, approximately €20 to €25, covering student services and local transport passes, so total yearly expenses remain under €150 for EU students. For non-EU undergraduates, tuition can be about €750 per semester, though scholarships and grants can offset these costs. Private international schools charge significantly more, ranging from €10,000 to €15,000 per year. Overall, public education in Austria remains among the most affordable in Europe. 8. Childcare and after-school care. Childcare for children under 6 in Austria is mostly free, but it highly depends on the regions. Some provinces offer free half-day childcare for children up to 6 years old, while others, like Vienna, offer free full-day childcare for this age group. For children aged 6 and above, after-school care, HORT, costs roughly €250 per month at private facilities, though publicly run programs may charge around €100 per month based on household income. Many employers and municipal programs offer partial reimbursement, bringing down net costs for families with working parents. In Linz, private childcare fees for preschool run about €300 per month, while after-school care is approximately $180 a month, reflecting regional variations. These costs highlight the importance of early planning. 9. Leisure and personal care. Basic haircut for men in Vienna typically costs around €20. A woman's haircut can range from 30 to 50 depending on the salon. Monthly gym membership averages 40 in Vienna, providing access to group classes and fitness equipment. Private music lessons, such as piano or guitar, run approximately €28 per hour, while group rates at community centers can drop to around €15. Swimming pool lessons for children or adults cost about €12 per session at public facilities, with monthly passes around 35, making aquatic activities relatively accessible. Other hobbies like dance classes or art workshops typically average €20 per session. 10. Healthcare costs. Public healthcare in Austria is funded through social insurance, and most doctor appointments cost about 25 euros out of pocket before reimbursement, depending on the provider's fee structure. Specialist consultations may require an upfront payment of around 40 euros, with most insured patients able to claim reimbursement of up to 80% from their health insurance fund. Prescribed medications under the national health system come with a co-payment of about 6 euros per prescription, though some chronic condition drugs may be fully covered. A routine dental checkup at a public clinic costs around 20 euros, while more advanced procedures like fillings or root canals can range from 80 to 150 euros, if not fully covered by supplemental dental insurance. Private health insurance plans often add supplementary coverage for faster access or private hospital rooms, costing around 50 to 100 euros per month, depending on the level of coverage. Monthly budget for a single person in Vienna. A single person renting a studio apartment in central Vienna pays about 850, plus 150 in utilities, and 34 for internet, and 18 for a mobile plan, totaling 1,052 euros for housing and communication. Adding groceries at roughly 300 and dining out at 250 places the food budget at 550 per month. Including 51 euros for a monthly public transport pass, and an occasional train trip budget of 30 euros brings transportation to about 81 per month. With leisure activities, gym membership for 40 euros, one haircut a month for 20, and occasional classes 2 times a month for 40 euros. The total monthly expenses for a single person in Vienna sum to approximately 1,780 euros. Monthly budget for a single person in St. Pölten. In St. Pölten, rent for a studio apartment averages 550, plus roughly 150 for utilities, 32 for internet, and 18 for a mobile plan, totaling 750 euros for housing and communication. Groceries are around 300, and dining out is slightly cheaper than in Vienna at about 200 euros monthly. A monthly public transport pass is 45, plus occasional intercity trains budgeted at 40. Adding gym membership at 35, haircut 15, and additional lessons for 30. A single person's total monthly expenses in St. Pölten amount to about 1,415 euros. Monthly budget for a family of 3 in Vienna. For a family of 3 in Vienna, renting a 2-bedroom apartment in the outskirts costs around 1,400 euros per month, with utilities of 330 euros, internet at 34 euros, and 2 mobile plans at 36 euros total, summing to 1,800 for housing and communication. Grocery costs for 3 people average 700 per month, while dining out twice weekly brings food expenses to 600. Childcare or after-school care totals 250 euros, and children's leisure activities, swimming and music, add another 160 euros per month. With 2 adult monthly transport passes for 102, 1 child pass at 30, and occasional train trips budgeted at 90, the family's grand total is about 3,730 euro per month. Monthly budget for a family of 3 in St. Pölten. In St. Pölten, a 1-bedroom rental averages 700 per month, with utilities of 330, internet at 32, and 2 mobile plans totaling 36, giving 1,096 for housing and communication. Monthly groceries for 3 cost about 700, and dining out twice weekly comes to roughly 500. After-school care for 1 child is 170, and after-school activities add 160 to the budget. Public transport passes for 2 adults are 90 combined, with intercity train tickets budgeted at 90. So monthly expenses for a family of 3 in St. Pölten come to about 2,800 euros. Overall, living costs in Austria vary widely depending on city, housing choices, and lifestyle. Vienna remains one of the most expensive cities, especially for rent and dining out, whereas Linz and St. Pölten offer more affordable alternatives. Utility and grocery prices are fairly consistent nationwide, so planning a monthly budget around these figures ensures financial stability in Austria. Thank you for watching this overview of everyday expenses in Austria. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or leave a like. See you soon.